goodbye. Now, one thing about you, it's that you started this business as a hobby, and then somewhere along the way you were like, oh crap, people actually are going to pay me money for this, and realized that you were running a business and had this kind of mini freak out moment. 5 years into captaining my own ship, and I will tell you that I have had those same mini panic attack moments myself, because we are expected to be, the marketer, the designer, the client customer service. There's so many hats that we have to wear, and one of those is being your own marketing and sales team. And one of the most important jobs that you can do is hopping on sales calls to book your services and to book those events and clients. So by the end of this episode, I want you to feel inspired and eager to hop on your next consultation call, knowing that you are going to knock it out of the park. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Amanda. I am the agency founder at Carry Love Designs. We help people make more doing what they love by using the power of branding and marketing in their business. And that's exactly what I want to help you with, is to really harness that power and knowing how to drive a consultation call and how to step up to the plate and be confident in it. Now, before I walk you through this simple framework to nail the sale, I want you to check out our playbook that we have. It's called the Nail the Sale Playbook, and this is really going to give you everything that you need to knock the sale out of the park. We have in there follow-up timelines, email templates on what to say to follow up with people, and then we go into a lot more depth into this framework, and so be sure to check that out. But shameless plug there. Now let's step into the framework. The first thing that you are going to want to nail is going to be what I call the warm-up. So the warm-up should be the first 5, no more than 10 minutes of the call. And this is really where you're warming them up. You're getting to know them. You're establishing a relationship outside of the sale. So in this, you want to start establishing that connection. If you are, for an example, a wedding photographer, a really easy question that you can ask to establish that relationship is how the couple got engaged. They love to tell the story, and it will be a really good piece of information that you can use later on down the line. So keep that question handy. We're going to come back to it. But remember that the overall idea of the warm-up is outside of the sale. We just want to be establishing that relationship with them and getting to know them. So now that you have laid that foundation, and by this point you should be pretty comfortable with them, this will be a great time and great way for you to segment right into the pitch. And this is where you're going to be pitching your service or your offering. Now, the first thing that you want to know, and this is a question that I ask on our own consultation calls, and this is as it relates to your service, is what's important to them so that you can lead with that value later on. So questions that I like to ask whenever we're on consultation calls: what's your main goal for hiring a designer? Or what are you looking for? What's most important to you when hiring a designer? So if you are a wedding photographer, you can say, what are you hoping to get out of the wedding photography experience? Or what's most important to you when hiring a wedding photographer? Those are some really great questions that are going to give you some insight into what's important to them. And we're going to use that insight later on in the process. So this is a great way to open up and segue into that pitch. Now, if you are driving with this so far, hit that thumbs up and let me know, because the next thing that we're going to get into is going to be using that value on them whenever pitching the service. So whenever you ask that question, what is the main goal or what is most important to you when hiring a wedding photographer? They may say back, a second shooter is really important. They may not say it exactly like that because they don't have that insider knowledge or jargon, but they might say something like, I really want to make sure that even though I can't be every single place during my wedding, that I want to make sure that I'm not missing a moment, that whenever we look back on our wedding, that I was able to, be with my husband getting ready. I was able to see the flower girl, putting her dress on and getting ready for the day. They may say something like that. And so that is something that's really valuable for you to know, because whenever you are pitching your service, you can say, hey, I know that it is super important for you you to be everywhere at once. Even though you can't be everywhere at once on your wedding day, I know it's really important for you to be able to look back on these photos and not have missed a single moment of your wedding day. And that is exactly why we offer what's called a second shooter. So not only is it going to be me there, but it's going to be somebody else, so that we are in multiple places at one time, making sure that your wedding day gets captured from different angles and from different perspectives. And right there, you have just created a ton of value for that person because they told you that that's what's most important to them. And you are reassuring them that that is what they're going to get whenever they book with you and how you're going to achieve it. Now, the second part of the pitch, now that you understand that main value point of what's important to them and you've kind of deepened that relationship and reassured them that they're in the right place, now it's time for you to pitch your service. And this is where it gets good. And here's my hot take is that you should only be pitching one service. That's for a million different reasons, but one of them is because I have built a multi-six-figure business off from this theory or off from this concept of only having our signature experience and not offering anything else outside of that. But while I was researching for this video, I ran across another video by Caitlin James, who is a wedding photographer, and she was talking about how she only offers one wedding service package. I'll link below to that video so you can watch it as well. But I did have to say that I felt very validated in my opinion. And we even teach this. We have a Creating Your Signature Experience workshop. I will also link that down below. And so I feel very strongly about this, but having somebody else that has also built a very successful business off from the same concept, it was just one of those moments where I was like, yeah. So anyways, back to the whole point here, that was kind of a side tangent, is that I think you should only be offering one service on your consultation call. And here's the reason why. Having one package that you are detailing on the consultation call really tees you up really nicely because you can walk them through what the experience is like through different phases. So like before the wedding, we'll do XYZ. On your wedding day, that includes, and you're not having to go through this, well, if you go with package A, you get XYZ. If you go with package B, then you get XYZ, plus you get this as well. And then the whole consultation calls just turns into either upselling them or downselling them instead of building the value and what makes your signature experience the best one. And so that is why, just one of the many reasons why that I think offering one service really helps you out during that initial consultation call. Like I said, there are many different reasons why I like the one service standpoint, but it really does help out in the consultation call process. And so if you want to slim down to one package, I do recommend checking out the Creating Your Signature Experience workshop, which I will link down below. So at this point, you should have walked them through your signature service or your offering. And I do want you to remember to keep it conversational throughout this entire process. You don't want it to be really stuffy and where they feel like they are getting sold to. Talk to them about the complimentary bridal session. If you're talking to them about a complimentary bridal session, ask if they've gotten their wedding dress yet, if they're excited, if they've, you might have asked if they picked out a wedding date. You probably asked about that a long time ago. But my point here is just to really keep it conversational throughout the entire call so that you do have that relationship with them. And that leads us straight to closing the deal, what I have dubbed the closer. This leads you to where you're going to talk about the next steps as to what happens after the consultation call has taken place. Some things to cover during the closing is going to be how they will receive their proposal, when you're going to send that proposal over, how long the proposal is good for, and what happens after they reserve their wedding date. What are the next steps once they become a client of yours? And this is also a great time to ask if they have any questions that you haven't covered and really open up that floor to them. And here's another tip. It sounds really easy, but it is very important to send over the proposal as soon as possible. This is something that I have noticed in my experience with other photographers and other service providers, is that sometimes I'll be waiting, a day, 2 days, 3 days just to receive the proposal. And you want to do it as soon as possible because hopefully if the consult call has gone really well, they are on this high. You have sold to them. They're excited about working with you. And so they are at this peak excitement level. That's when you want to get that proposal in their hands, not 3 days down the road when they're like, oh, what was it like to work with them? What questions did I ask? How did that get answered? No, if you send it over as soon as possible, that is whenever they are most excited to work with you and it's top of mind for them. So inside of our Nail the Sale playbook, we send you timelines of follow-ups, email templates that give you the exact words of what to say whenever you are following up with them. And you'll find all of that inside the Nail the Sale playbook, and I will link to that down below. So hopefully by now we have gone through what the warm-up is, the pitch, and the closer, and so you should have a lot of confidence going into your next consultation call. But one more thing before I go, did you know that only 44% of businesses follow up more than once after a consultation call, which is actually pretty low if you ask me. But did you also know 80% of sales required 5 or more follow-ups? Like, that's insane. And a lot of people give up after that first follow-up. And so don't let that be you. Continue following up with that proposal that you send over, because it's going to help that stay top of mind for that person, and it could very well lead to more money in your pocket if you just simply follow up. Comment below follow up if you are committed to following up with your proposals more than once after the consultation call. So now that you have learned the simple 3-step framework of the consultation call, you should be ready to knock your next consultation call out of the park. But if you want some even more reassurance and confidence, then check out the Nail the Sale playbook so that you can have those email templates, those follow-up timelines, and we go into more depth of the framework inside the Nail the Sale playbook as well. But at this point, you might be thinking, I'm not even to the consultation call. Like, I need more leads coming in. Then that's okay. We have some more content for you. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to get more leads coming in from your website. And then join me again next week for